What's going on, everyone? It's me, Count Draven Batsworth, your friendly neighborhood bat furry, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Going on from my previous video where I made a list, I wanted to make a list this time that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. This one's a bit more simple and more humble because I thought this time I would go back to my childhood and talk about my top favorite furry cartoons growing up. As I mentioned, I am basically enthralled in the world of animation, not only as a furry, but as hopefully an animation enthusiast and hobbyist, hopefully one that can eventually become a professional animator later on down the line. So cartoons are really important to me, and I found just as I was growing up, there's so many shows and so many cartoons growing up that really are furry friendly, that I think we just need to take a look at and embrace and talk about what their influences on the furry fandom, or maybe their influences on us as people growing up. So like last time, there are some rules, but let me read those rules out. So number one, you don't have to necessarily have it be a furry show. It doesn't have to be all about animals, but maybe there are a couple characters that have features or emphasis on the animals themselves, or maybe something about the animal characters that just makes them so furry friendly. And number two, it has to be a show that I have watched. So nothing that I haven't seen yet. Make this an a top 10 as of 2019, if you prefer. Now, before I start the video this time, I'm going to do honorable mentions before I go on to this list. Pokemon. I'm sorry that this isn't on the main list, but I think because of how much impact this has, not just on the furry fandom, but as a populace, you can't call this necessarily the most furry-friendly cartoon, even though the animals are the furry-friendly part. But because it's enjoyed by so many people, not just furries, I think it's not important to put into the list. But Pokemon is really good. Happy Tree Friends. All fuzzy animals, all bipeds, all funny and interesting. I don't like the one where they sold out to YouTube though with a whole ad, like copyright video or something. And plus it's very violent and gory, so if you're not into that sort of thing, you know, you can rest assured that's not on my list, so that's why I put it as an honorable mention. And The Amazing World of Gumball. You know, a family of cats, rabbits, and a fish. There are other, like, maybe creatures along the line, but I think because it's, again, enjoyed by more people than just furries, and, you know, again, there's focus on the family of animals, you know, the Watersons, but it's not necessarily a furry cartoon. I just made it an honorable mention. So, with the mentions out of the way, let's get on with the list. At number 10, we have Arthur, a childhood favorite growing up, one that's still going to this day. A cartoon that taught lots of people amazing, like children, life lessons, told stories, and tried to bring a real face to animals and trying to make situations relatable. Like, not too long ago, they did an episode about a child with Asperger's syndrome, and because I have autism, I resonated with the episode because I've had my panic attacks and my freakouts, my moments where I just had to like sit and rock. But it never does anything in an offensive way either, except for the one where Arthur punched DW. That was the only one, I think. But I think overall, as a show, it's so inoffensive and it's so incredible and just really well animated, really well written, really well told, to the point that I could not leave it out of my list. Number 9 is a very peculiar one called Samurai Pizza Cats, or as it's really called, Hyato Nindan Teyande. It's about cats who work in a pizza shop. Where do you think they got the inspiration from? Yep. But that doesn't make it a bad thing. As an anime, it's funny. I watched the... phone call. They'll leave a message, but I just want to listen to Open Your Heart by Crush 40 for a minute. Sorry about that. But as an anime, it's funny. All the characters are relatable, all the characters have their own funny stories, and I think the power-ups, it's a very toyetic one. It's a shame I can't actually find any merchandise of it, and I want to get the Famicom game, but that's expensive as f***. So if I'm lucky to find it at a convention anywhere, then, you know, that'd be great. Why is it a furry cartoon? Well, it is basically a bunch of animals, whether they're cybernetic animals or just regular animals or not, I'm not sure. But I think, again, it's just pretty damn good. Number 8, Gretzico. Who hates their job? Who loves death metal? Who needs to find a release? Gretzico does. And all these characters from Gretzico are just really, really funny. It's a show on Netflix that I resonate with because sometimes I have moments where my job can get too much. But thankfully I'm on a good basis with my colleagues and my managers. But sometimes you just hate the workday and just need to de-stress. And I love heavy metal. So Gretzico, if she was real, would be the perfect woman for me, I think. As long as she was human. I mean, yeah, I'm a furry, but I don't think of animals that way. No, that's disgusting. But Gretzico's personality is just everything that I find endearing in a woman. Someone who might have a secret, hobby or interest that many people don't know about. Maybe her death metal karaoke. But also very sweet and innocent in which she tries to just do the right thing. I mean, it's everything you expect from like one of those, mock-up, The Office shows made in Japan, really. Number 7, we have DuckTales. Woohoo! Who doesn't love DuckTales? Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, Louie, sometimes even Donald Duck thrown into the mix. I love Donald Duck. Donald Duck is my homeboy. So any feature with him is just going to get an instant place on the list. But the stories are endearing. There's like this constant development and growth of Scrooge and how he learns to warm to Huey, Dewey, and Louie, bring them along on their adventures, learn stuff from them as well. I think there's a lot of, learning from this show. Not necessarily life lessons, but learning to, sort of grow and love these characters. And the new show, especially with David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck, is just probably some of the best I've seen in a while. And I think they've done a really good job establishing these characters. And I just say well done to all the writers, animators, for making a cheap, penny-pinching, a lovable icon. Number 6. Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. Chip and Dale go on adventures. They have furry companions. It's all good fun. Nothing else I can really say about that, except I think if you're a Disney fan or furry, you urge yourself to watch at least a few episodes, just to see what all the fuss is about. Chip and Dale. Number 5 is Animaniacs. I mean, it's wacky, zacky, and just incredible. Who go on these crazy adventures. And again, it's just funny. I mean, it's Looney Tunes writing for Looney Tunes writing's sake, but it just works. It works so well, and I just cannot recommend it enough. If you're a cartoon fan, you have to watch it. If you're a furry, it's worth checking out. But I think because of all the antics they get into, their interactions with all the characters around them just makes the show more lovable and more endearing. Number 4, Rocko's Modern Life. Now, this one gets a place on the list because it takes place in an animal world, but also because the stories are just really interesting. All the characters are lovable. I love Rocko and his little dog Spunky. Heifer and his neighbors, like Mr. and Mrs. Bighead, are just really funny. It just seems like Rocko can never catch a break, and I think that's the point. I think we're meant to resonate as Rocko as someone who just sometimes cannot seem to get good luck when it's needed, but hopefully you just hope that things work out for them in the end. I mean, it's more adult than it really is, but again, lots of cartoons were more adult. I mean, this was on Nickelodeon. I remember watching this on Nick late night when I was growing up, so maybe there are a lot more adult features, adult content that I should have noticed, but thankfully I didn't. Until you grow up, and then your childhood is basically ruined. At number 3, we have Thundercats. Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose! I love cats. And I think this action show about Lion-O leading all of his friends and Snarf along his journeys is incredible. There's like this weird story around Lion-O, who's still this child at mind, but adult in body because he was basically frozen. Everyone else has grown up, but he hasn't, and he has to come to terms with the fact that he has to be a leader and not just be a child all the time, and needs to take charge and actually be the adult. It's quite an interesting way to tell a story. Sure, it's not well animated, but I think, given that, all the models are drawn well, I think that's a sacrifice worth making. Number 2, Looney Tunes. Do I have to say more? Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Elmer Fudd, Foghorn Leghorn, Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, Sylvester, Tweety, Porky Pig, all these wonderful characters that we've all grown and loved throughout the years, whether or not it's furry friendly or not, because all the anthropomorphic creatures are so relatable and we just love them so much. That's what makes them furry friendly. But they are just incredible cartoons to check out if you're having an off day. I mean, I have a Looney Tunes best of compilation DVD. That's how much I love it. And my number one furry cartoon, well, to me, is My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Before I started watching MLP, I didn't know very much about all these different fandoms. The furry fandom, the brony fandom, and I obviously grew up hating them because I didn't understand them. But because My Little Pony taught me to open my mind and open my heart to people, you know, who were different to me, because I expected people to open their heart to me because I was different to them. It taught me that we're all just in need of a good friend, and sometimes that's all you want. And all the characters, Twilight, Rainbow, Fluttershy, Applejack, Rarity, and Pinky, and Spike, they all just taught me so much, and I think they made me feel like more of a... I feel like I've actually grown and developed more as a furry and as a human being because of watching the show. I mean, I joined a brony group where everyone basically gets on and hopefully disagreements can be worked out. We all have grown to love and admire the show for teaching us so much. It's become a big part of our lives. It's sad that it's over now, but I'll always have those memories of how it taught me to be a better person and a better friend. And that's why My Little Pony to me is my number one. But what about you? Maybe you disagree? I want to see your top 10 list. Leave a comment with your list down below, or if you agree with my list, then just leave a comment anyway. Until next time, thanks for watching. If you want to see more antics from me, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And follow me on my social medias, on Instagram at DravenFuzzyB, or on my Twitter at DravenBat. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye!